Hey there, Miss Nunez.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, lovely to see you. Are you ready for your? I would. I'm so used to saying things like, "Are you ready for the weekend?" But I don't know about you. It's pretty much the same to me. It's not really. I mean, not working. That's good.
Well, I know. I agree with you. It's more of a staying home or, indoors.
Yeah,
Nothing.
the weekend used to be something to look forward to. I mean, I guess it still is for a lot of folks. Family. They go for walks. They go do stuff. But you got plans for the weekend? You get anything fun happening?
Um, Hopefully recover from this cold.
Oh
And
no!
well, since Wednesday, I just after that heated staff meeting intro,
Oh,
I, I I kid you not, I'm not exaggerating. My body started feeling like in knots. My chest was hurting, like
oh.
just the whole idea. I don't know. It
Well,
triggered something.
I don't. I don't. I think I got lost there. What was the heated thing? Was there something bad that happened Wednesday? I don't remember. Maybe I wasn't part of it.
No, just the controversial comments from some.
Oh, from staff members? Oh, really? Yeah. Sorry,
No.
I guess I should probably be more in the loop about this kind of stuff. But well, I'm glad. I'm sorry it caused a physical malady. Jesus.
I
Right?
know. I was like, "What's going on?" But um, I'll get through it. And just putting up Christmas decorations. I guess that's the plan.
I think that's fun. I mean, I don't do it, but I've seen a lot of people posting videos and pictures and things like that of their Christmas tree stuff. And I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about doing it, but I'm just so bad about that stuff. And I'd like to do something for my wife so at least she's not more gloomier than she would normally be. But uh,
Yeah.
it's not my thing. I'm not a crafty guy.
Well, I think the effort would go a long way.
I think you're right. I think you
Yeah.
might be right. I might find somebody online who I can pay $20. Hey, come here, buddy. Hang up these things, will ya? I gotta watch.
Yeah.
I got Family Guy episodes to watch.
All right. So I have the school site council agenda up, and I just copied and pasted items. So
Beautiful.
once we're ready for,
Yeah. Hopefully this will go over. I don't know how it'll go. I don't know.
I agree.
The intention is for you guys to talk about and get a consensus on the SPSA.
Okay.
And the thing is that um, when people go to these district level meetings and they're told about these things, because the district does such a good job at formally expressing what the requirements are and what the processes are, that sometimes parents go to the meetings going, "Oh my God, this is like a federal case here." There's going to be prosecutors and there's going to be press and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
the idea of it just being a way for people to come together and make some decisions gets sometimes lost in the technicality of all of this stuff. It normally doesn't, except this year because we're taking it much more seriously this year because of the audit. Really,
Yeah.
we're having to be a little bit more on the what's the word? I don't know. Thorough side, which actually I'm happy.
Thorough. Yeah.
It's a good thing, right? It's a positive thing to be as thorough as you possibly can. Um,
Yes.
so, anyway, that's the game
Well,
plan, and nobody submitted anything for public comment. Like, can you imagine if we had public comment periods in past?
I
um,
know.
so anyway, um, I'm slated to do a couple presentations, but I think I'm going to see if we can do it some other time. Mostly
Okay.
because it's Friday afternoon and people, I'm sure are not going to want to sit there talking about attendance and things. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's probably going to take the SPSA will take most of the discussion. Do you have any changes? Do you have anything you want to make? Okay.
Not at the moment. I think the document outlines everything very specific,
Yeah.
and it's coming from the perspective of me knowing because I'm in the classroom, so I can see where the parent would be. Let me take my time, but it's just a matter of taking the time to do.
It really is.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I believe it also has to do with many of our members, including myself, being new to the
Right.
whole process. So that can be a little daunting, but not that it's not doable.
Yeah, yeah, and we're guiding the process along for everybody. It's just it's work.
Yeah.
So hopefully everybody will show up in a timely manner. We'll try to get this thing up and done before we drive ourselves crazy. I'm hoping that everybody's gonna have a pleasant weekend and do something cool. But
Yes.
how was your school day?
It went well. The kiddos, we were, since we've had the shift in grading and things like that, today, Fridays and Tuesdays are my days with Velasco.
Okay.
The last 2 periods, and then I start the day with Nguyen. We got some writing done, and we were scaffolding the outline and things like that. Well, I shouldn't say many, a few did show up of my kiddos that are in there, and they wanted to continue working on it. So that made my day.
Well, that's good news.
Little things like that.
It's all that matters, man. The little things. So
Yeah. Let's see. Have we ever had public input
No.
since you've been on? Okay.
no,
That's what I figured.
most schools don't. Even the high schools don't. Some high schools do. I know Santa Ana has a pretty active, or had a pretty active, school side council, but this was 4 years ago. I don't know what they're like now.
Okay. How was your day today, though? How was
Oh,
the flow?
I'm basically going through a major audit. I've kind of been a bureaucrat for the past month or so, getting the school ready for this federal audit we're going through. So most of my work is just organizing paperwork and tracking down old documents. And in some cases, writing exception letters saying, look, we don't have this. Sorry, buddy. So that's kind of been my day. I'm sure you can appreciate it's not my cup of tea. It's not the kind of thing that I really enjoy doing.
I
But
agree.
somebody's got to do it. So
I know.
I'll take the case.
The way that I can relate is, writing the IEP, the paperwork. I'd rather work with the student a million times than, the formal paperwork. So
I agree. It's like if you like, my wife has a neurologist, and when we used to go and see the neurologist, he would normally come in with a graduate student, or he would come in with his nurse, right? And so the nurse would be taking the notes, because the nurse is the one who would end up basically having to take care of a lot of the report writing, except for the narrative, right? So the nurses prepare the reports, and then the doctor goes in and types in the narrative component of it. I'm wondering why we don't do that kind of stuff, with education specialists, where if you have a para, right, if there is a para assigned especially, that the para educator could be the one that works with you in creating those reports, organizing it, getting the paperwork together, giving
That
you
would
the
be-
opportunity to spend more time with the kids, right? I mean,
Yep. It really would be
unfortunately,
nice.
much of the work of you guys has now become writing these reports, and I'm wondering if there's any room to be able to, shift that responsibility over. Maybe not completely, but in some case, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I am so delirious lately. I don't know.
I can
whether-
imagine.
Yeah, just coming or going. Who knows? So,
You're on campus right now, right?
yeah. I'm the only one on campus now too. I was hoping to be able to. I was hoping we could do this meeting a little later on or earlier on, so at least I can get home. But nope, not happening. I'm gonna have to do this from my office. Hi, Sabrina. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, Mr. Sanchez. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Oh, that looks fun. Hey, Ms. Gomez.
Hey guys, happy Friday.
See you. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Let me rename myself. My daughter use my, oh, I don't think I could rename myself.
Oh, let me change that. I'm sorry. Hold on.
No, oh, you could change my name?
No, I can change your ability to.
Oh.
You should be able to now.
Oh yeah, thank you. You're a whiz.
Yeah, that's what my mom tells me.
Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Velasco. Good afternoon, senor. Hey, Mr. Sanchez, I don't know if it's appropriate to be preemptive about this, but you might want to, if you're so inclined, send a message to Miss Corona to see if
She's coming.
she is coming. Oh, good.
Yeah, the only one that's not coming is Idalia Rios.
Okay.
She has a family emergency and cannot be here.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Gomez.
You're welcome.
Dr. Cicada is going to be about 10 or 15 minutes late.
Do we have to wait for her? Because I believe in honoring people's time.
I agree. No, we need to wait for Miss Corona.
Oh, okay. So I just texted her too. I'm like, let's be on time.
Yeah.
It's Friday. I'm sure everybody wants to start their weekend.
Believe me, sister, I don't know if you know, I live in San Diego, so San Diego County. So
Friday
really
afternoon traffic.
yeah, it's going to be quite a drive. So I'm really hoping this meeting goes over well.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I think I'm freezing up on my end. Sorry.
Yeah, it's actually my dad's birthday today, so he's turning 67.
Hey!
So we're actually gonna have a get together, just a small, our immediate family,
Have him join the
have
meeting.
dinner. Yeah, right.
We need more input, we need more input.
What schools did you go to in Santa Ana?
So elementary, I went to Greenville. Middle school, I went to MacArthur. High school, I went to Saddleback,
Wow.
and then I went to SAC for 2 years, and then I transferred to Cassie Fullerton.
Nice.
And then I always wanted to get I was the first in my family to get a master's,
Good
and
for
then,
you.
So I went to national, and I was working full time at the time. And this past year, I just completed my school counseling credential.
Good for
So,
you.
so I the last 3-4, credential and masters, I've been working full time and been putting myself through school, But it's just something that I've always wanted to do. And ideally, I'd like to get a doctorate degree one day, but I need to eventually get, eventually one day,
Isaac, you will get a doctorate degree because you already put that in the universe. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, I know.
You're
I
gonna
mean,
speak it into existence.
yeah.
It's
Every
gonna
time
happen.
every time I mention it was just with friends and family, it's kind of like that. Kind of sounds really nice, like Dr. Sanchez.
Doesn't
Like
it? Anything
you know?
with a doctor in front of it, Latino last name has me sold. I'm just sold
Yeah.
out. Like I want to cry.
Yeah.
Like yes, thank you. You made it. You're one of the less than 2%.
So I mean, like I definitely like sharing that because I was a product of this district too as a student, and I like to be that role model for the current generation.
We
Just to
do need those male Latino men. Let me tell
Exactly.
you, we do
Especially-
need those here.
I know, especially in the education field or even in the medical field, it's not really a lot of Latino male.
Yeah.
Not
Not
so it's
represented.
kind of nice to represent and show the current generation, the kids, if we
Se
can
puede.
do it, they can do it. At least se
Yep.
puede,
hmm Very cool. I wanted to see if we had any like schools in common because I was born and
Yeah.
raised, but Sac and Cal State Fullerton are the only ones.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
we went to
Titan,
different ones.
go Titans,
Yeah,
and
there
go
we go.
Dons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. So it's cool.
Who is Villa Fundamental?
What is it?
Oh, that's.
Oh,
Oh, I
yeah,
thought she was gonna be
Dr.
late.
Siqueira.
Cool. She made on time.
Okay, man.
Hey, Dr. Siqueira. So I sent Ms. Corona the link, but we are 3:02, and I said we should start, but that's just me.
Yeah. Well, what does the council say? What's everybody else say? Crystal, you can start us off if you'd like to.
I second that.
We will officially start.
All right. So now that we've started, there are no public comments, and so we will close the public comment period as well. We do need to take a look at the previous approve the previous minutes. The minutes are available for you on our website, but I will put the link in the chat pod if you would like to review them as quickly as you'd like to, and then we can see if there's someone who would like to make a motion to approve last meeting's minutes, and then second that, and then we'll take a vote. We'll move on. So you guys now all have the link to the minutes from last week.
I would like to make a motion to
Approve. Okay, is there a second? Dr. Cicada seconds, sort of. I think this is a seconding. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Sabrina, I'm assuming you're raising your hand, sweetheart? Yes, she is. All right, good. All right, so the minutes have been approved, and we can now move on to the larger business matter, which, as you know, on the agenda has to do with a discussion of our single plan for student achievement goals. Just as a reminder, it was sent out just a few days before Thanksgiving recess, and then we convened on Monday to discuss it. The council decided that we need more time to review it, and so we took this week to review the goals. And the idea today, at least, is for the council to have a discussion and then either make a motion to approve or make a motion to table, and then we'll take it from there. So I give it to you, council members.
Okay, I don't know if I can talk just because we did meet with the ladies yesterday, and both of them showed up, and we kind of, I have the notes on our consensus like ideas for most of us. I know we kind of had a couple of questions. One of my questions was, is this the exact same thing that was submitted last year for approval? Or was it changed or tweaked at all?
Okay, so I think you're asking me.
Or
Yeah, no,
whoever.
it's only been updated. Nothing, no instructional strategies per se have been altered. The only thing that has been altered is to take into consideration the new convention. But that's it, and that's what most of the schools, at least that we've been told. Excuse me, not we. I have been told. People are kind of letting the sleeping dogs lie during this strange transitional year. But that's just because that's what we've done. The council.
Us moms didn't really feel comfortable with that just because a lot has happened in the last year, and I don't think keeping the same thing would be effective. And some of the money spent when we are in school to the money spent when we're not, it could vary. So that's why I think we had like that there has to be it has to be different. We try to rationalize it and we didn't get to a conclusion. So I'll give you one of the examples where it talked about spending $5,000 on goal 6, which is parent engagement. So we had a question. So is those $5,000, what is that? Like, what are you spending $5,000 on? We couldn't find exactly, yeah.
So if the line item is just parent engagement, then, and it doesn't list a specific community partner, like in the past, we've spent money on community partners, like, what was the one that we had, you guys?
Olive Crest, Neutral Ground,
No.
something about Knight Rider, not right.
The TV show?
Oh my gosh, that is a TV show with Michael Knight.
No, wasn't the Gear Up? Not Gear Up. What was the group that Mr. Velasco was working with?
On Track, America on Track?
Pure game.
Was it Peer Game? No.
Anyway, I can't
So
remember.
we
to
have
be
a
honest.
list of providers
Was
and
it
just like,
Latinx? Well, that's
No.
this year, right?
Yeah.
no, that Latinx should be this year.
That's
See, so
this
that,
year.
like, I could understand, but a lot of the ones that you, like America on Track, I don't know, or Olive Crest, what service they provided that they cost, because we've partnered up with nonprofits and it's usually free. So what services are they doing special out of the scope of the organization that we're getting charged for?
Well, it might be other things like materials for the meetings, the coffee that we provide, if we have treats for the parents, if we have to print things or hand out binders or folders, that kind of stuff.
Right, so I get that, but because we're meeting virtually and that's not being provided, that's why I think we should change the amount. Does that make sense?
Yeah. it does.
So I don't know if you're able to. And it's funny, because Dr. E, when you mentioned like all the schools have it the same, I'm gonna tell you what my mom said. I don't care what the other schools are doing. We're at VIA. We're gonna be amazing, okay?
So
It matters
I
I
what we
just
do.
caution us to not budget for that, because if we come back, then we don't have any money in that pot to use.
Oh yeah, no, I
Because
agree
this
not
is
to
our
put it at
budget.
0. Right.
Yeah.
Did Santa Ana say when we're coming back? Because Anaheim Union just said March, and usually Anaheim and Santa Ana would go head and head, but you haven't heard anything.
They haven't told us an exact date yet.
Okay. Anaheim just announced it this week that it's March. So I doubt if Anaheim's doing March that we will start sooner, but I could be wrong. But so far they've been piggyback off of each other because of the demographic and the similarities in what they're serving. So I wouldn't say like eliminate it to 0, but definitely we have to look at it because we're not budgeting 5,000 for the whole year already. I mean, if you look at it, we're in December, we're going to go on winter break, we're going to come back. So definitely I feel if you guys, whatever you feel is best, but I don't really think that's necessary. And I talked to the other ladies and they thought the same thing.
Okay, so before you go on, Ms. Gomez,
Go
so
ahead.
I want to be clear that it's this council actually needs to make these decisions.
Right. Those are just my suggestions.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So
So
this
I
is
agree.
the
I'm not like
feedback.
a one say, whatever I say
Oh, no,
goes.
no.
I get it.
I know, but what I'm saying is that the feedback gets provided, but it's this council that
Right.
does the work, right?
I get it.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
perhaps if we need to make that change, we need to maybe discuss what does that need
Perfect.
to change to.
Yeah, that's just my suggestion. You guys do what you got to do. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, Ms. Gomez. It's that there is no you guys. It's us. It's all of
council.
us. Yeah.
Right.
That's right.
So I'm saying you guys because I know where I stand. You guys get to decide that amongst yourselves too,
We also have to make sure that our entire budget is allocated to things. So it's just, hold on just a second. I have people coming through.
That's okay. That's okay.
So we have to make sure that we've assigned all of our money to certain categories. And so taking this 5,000 out of this pot doesn't mean that we're not going to spend it. It's going to
Right,
get spent somewhere, and it's going to be hard to spend the money this year. I guarantee you, we're not going to spend all the money allocated to us. Not going to happen. It's impossible. So,
That
Okay,
was
go
another question the moms had. If it doesn't get used, what happens with that money?
it depends on the year. Sometimes they're generous and they give it back to us, or they give us an extension of a few months. And sometimes they sweep it and put it into a district pot, and then they kind of divvy it up evenly among all the schools.
And here's another question. So let's say the $5,000 engagement, because we'll do the parent, because that's the one we just talked about. Does it fall like getting a gift card now virtually? Whoever attends the community meetings that you have on Wednesdays gets a gift card to a grocery store, Walmart or Target. would that be the 5,000 would be allotted for that, or is it certain limitations and you cannot get gift cards for your families?
We can't give gift cards. We can only do it through donation money. Through donations.
Oh, donations, you could get gift card, but not through this one. Okay, that's it. That was the question. Okay. We love the goals that you guys chose. And I think one of the other questions, I promise I'm almost done. I'm not gonna talk forever. I know it's Friday. One of the other questions that we had, I noticed that one of the goals is specifically for math. I wanna say it's goal 6. No, that's the one we just reviewed. Sorry. Oh, for the algebra, this one, goal 4 for math. Do you guys see that? Is it just me? And then what's one, I believe, for literature, I want to say. Is that the 2 subjects that you found the kids struggled in last year? Or why is it that those 2 subjects are what we're focusing on?
Those 2 subjects are the only 2 that can be tied to Title I funds.
Okay.
So we can't, and we talk about, and if you read the entire document, we talk about literacy through all content areas, but we can't say science, social science specifically. It's literacy, or it's English language arts, or it's math.
Okay, and then the only other suggestion that's the last one, I promise, was to maintain a safe, secure, respectful school environment. Since we're not in school, okay, well, what does that look like when we're doing it virtually? Because that was also $3,000 for us to keep it safe. Anyways, that was it. As far as the feedback that I got from parents, or from the 2 parents.
The safe, secure environment, we still have our security officer on campus because he does still have to make sure that our campus is protected. And once in a while, like we've been having those COVID events, we pay him overtime to be there for the COVID testing. Or other district-sponsored events that they use our campus for. In addition, we still use some of that money for if there's a security issue with a student. We're still checking on kids. We're still offering services to kids. If we have reports of bullying or anything like that, we're still using resources.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That was
Ms. Gomez, so cool.
Thank you.
I mean
those are what we came up with.
I don't think we've gotten this high quality level of most of the feedback. Excuse me, can I go on a bird walk for a second?
Sure, you have a bird on you. So.
Hey, there he is. Most of the feedback is really general that we get from parents and kids, and look at this. These parents aren't taking that. They're coming and saying, nope. Very specific stuff.
Thank you.
That's high end. I appreciate that.
Thank you. We appreciate everything in the collaborative.
Of course. Dr. Cicada, I don't know if this is appropriate for your consideration, though, but now that Ms. Gomez has brought this up and we've discussed it, Go Guardian is in fact now the thing that's providing us with a safe campus, right? And I'm wondering if we would be able to switch over that expenditure into Title I funds. No?
We tried. Well, we tried when we first brought Go Guardian on, and we were told no, it would be supplanting. However, the district now funds Go Guardian.
Oh, hey, good news.
So I hope we get a refund. Because we paid $8,000 for it.
We did, boss. I think I may have forgotten to tell you, but we got the refund.
Okay. There you go.
Before the end of the school year. It's all coming back to me now.
See, you spoke it into existence, and now you got the $1,000 back.
So, other discussion from the other council members, Ms. Nguyen, Mr. Sanchez, Velasco, Nunez.
I'm not quite sure what this all means in terms of the budget. My concern, and maybe it's a dumb concern, would be if we start reducing numbers, will we have access to those funds when we come back and need, something in the future? And another concern that I have as a teacher is I get the feeling that we're going to be asked back sooner than we should be at school, and safety is going to be number one in the minds of everybody. Can money from that school safety, the concern that the parents have, that fund, can money be used to, if and when we come back, which I understand right now we're not, but there's a chance it could happen. Maybe, I don't know, would that money have to be there, or are we talking next year kind of stuff? I don't even worry about it.
Can you be more specific about safety when we
Well,
come back?
yeah, so let's say they announce in March, everyone's coming back. Right now, that money that was set aside for school safety becomes relevant, right? Should we be thinking about that possibility, or do we just assume this year is going to be online? Let's fund it as if it's going to be entirely online.
I think we fund it in preparation for both scenarios. That we're looking through the lens of if we were to be on campus or when we do get to come back. And then also that fits this world too, the digital world.
It's just because just because something right now is slotted for a certain use, there's still a lot of ways we can use those funds, right? As long as they're in that category, right? I'm concerned.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
For the sake of trying to be more expedient with the funds, that we don't end up never losing access to funds.
Right.
And if we have an idea, if we have a specific idea, can we use this money and instead go here? Then I think we can talk about that, right? But I don't know how it works again, so I may be wrong. But I just would hate to put ourselves in a situation where we don't have access to those funds anymore because we've said we don't need it.
Right, and we can always advocate for moving funds around or changing, where we've placed them. And so if it looks like, let's say we come back from winter break and, they're saying, look, we're not opening the rest of the year, then I'm sure they're going to tell us all to meet with our school site council again and talk about how do we spend the money. And maybe we don't, maybe they decide to give us the grace period I talked about. And maybe the other way around. Maybe we come back in January and they say, prepare, in 2 weeks, you're going to have kids on your campus. They're going to give us time to adjust things.
Right. And how do we honor, what do we do now to honor the parents' concern here? Do we just make a motion to remove, what are we removing? Are we moving money from here to there? Or are we saying, no, thank you, we're not going to use that money? Or what are we saying?
Well, I thought, and Dr. A, please pipe in here and let me know if I'm wrong, but I think we should be talking more about the goals. Do we have the right goals? Not necessarily how the money is allocated.
Yeah, so absolutely, Dr. Cicada. That's the primary objective of the council, generally speaking. The purview, of course, is for you to look at anything you're going to look at as far as the plan is concerned, which makes perfect sense. But I think Dr. Cicada's point, at least as far as I'm concerned, is well taken. Because even though she ran Title I here up till now, I've worked on Title I and EL programs in multiple school districts over the past 20 years. And generally speaking, that's what the SSCs do. Is they talk about the goals, they say we need to shift this goal, we need to tighten this goal, we need to open up that goal. But I think Ms. Gomez and the parents have found some really interesting things there. Maybe we do need to, at the very least, rethink what parent engagement is, or we maybe need to talk about what is safety nowadays. And just to Mr. Velasco's point, I appreciate your point. That is general practice in a lot of corporations and businesses. But our district adheres to a zero-based budgeting principle, and these funds are categorical in general. So it's not a kind of thing where use it or lose it. You will lose it, but it'll come back again next year. You see. But I appreciate what you're saying. That's generally how it works in a lot of other fund streams, except for the categorical ones. So at this point, we do have a quorum. So here's, I think, what Mr. Velasquez was getting at. And again, remember, colleagues, I'm not on the council. I'm simply helping facilitate at this point. The concrete suggestion that I heard from the parents is that we need to rethink that dollar amount, that $5,000 amount, and or rethink the actual language that we're using around that specific line item. Is that accurate, Ms. Gomez?
Yeah, but I think before I answer that, I forgot something it's hard because the other girls aren't here, and I'm pretty sure, I hope I'm not missing anything else, but one of the concerns or questions, I know you guys have Engage 360, but aside from Engage 360, do you guys have any online tutoring that you could offer these kids, or is there any monies that we could use for online tutoring from the goals?
So we did approve, I think in our September meeting, extra funding for Avid tutors, right? So that they could offer tutoring for students. And I think it was it like $45,000? I can't remember how much, to be quite honest. It was 40?
Oh, good. That's a
Crystal?
good amount. Okay. I think that was one of their concerns too, or them if you do modify anything, like if we could use some of the money for tutoring, like help for the kids that are really struggling. Oh, there's Fabiola.
And I think Mr. Velasco, hopefully we get to it this evening. Actually, we have to get to it in this meeting. I know we have $5,000 allocated for parent engagement, and Mr. Velasco has a program that he wants to bring to us that's actually $10,000, right?
Yes, that is
Yeah.
correct.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, instead of shifting money out of that category, we need to be pushing it in.
But see, I understand because that's a program that does cost money, and it's a program that's so effective for our community, tailored for our community. And see, that way, I don't think I'll see an issue with it. Yeah, it's double, but now I get that the services, we have to see what we're getting back, right? Such a good investment. Señora Fabiola, bienvenidas. Ya hablé con ellos sobre cómo están alocando más o menos lo que hablamos del dinero, pero lo que ellos están diciendo es que son las metas que necesitamos aprobar, no necesariamente la cantidad de los dineros.
Ok, una disculpa. Mi teléfono se me había descargado. Perdón.
She said her phone was not charged, so she apologizes for being late.
Of course. And of course, Mr. Elizararas is here for you as well, Ms. Corona, if you need some translation. Okay, so at this point, if I may kind of jump back in to kind of oil this up a little bit, is we do have quorum. The recommendation that's been made at this point is that we need to make some sort of an adjustment to the parent component. We also know that on the agenda currently is a potential increase that might come out of that line item. So I would like to suggest that the council consider taking a vote to see if you will approve the SPSA at this session, with the understanding that that particular line item is going to need to get adjusted per the council's decision on whether or not they're going to approve the request for
So,
parent.
Dr. A, I think specifically we're approving the goals, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're not paying attention to the budget because we will be shifting money around, and we can every time we meet if we want. But we're approving the 6 goals.
Spot on. So it is up to you to make the motion and second it if you'd like to, or table it. It's up to you.
Can Jaime translate for Fabiola, please?
Entonces, señora Fabiola, el señor está mencionando el punto de esta reunión es nomás para que si nosotros vamos, bueno, si ustedes van a concordar que van a votar en las 6 metas que se les pidió que leyeran, así para que lo puedan aprobar como consejo.
Y señora Fabiola, ya revisamos también la área de seguridad que nosotros estamos, pero ¿por qué está allí si ni están los niños? Pero ya explicaron que es porque todavía tienen el seguridad, el oficial que hace seguridad en la escuela allí, y de ahí y cuando tienen eventos también pagan para que él esté allí, como eventos de cover así, ya explicaron eso.
If it's okay, I'd like to motion to approve the goals.
It's been a motion to approve the 6 SPSA goals. Is there a second? Mr. Sanchez seconds. All in favor, please raise your hand.
Entonces, sí está de acuerdo de votar por.
Ms. Nunez, Sabrina, what do you think? Sweetie, are you voting yes or no? In the chat pod, you can tell us. She's fine as well, so it's unanimous. We've approved the SPSA, and but we do need to have that discussion about that budget item, and it's a great thing. It's a great thing. Hey, well, I appreciate it. Are there any other points that we need to discuss about this agenda item before we move on?
¿Hay algún otro comentario, algo que quisiera mencionarles después, antes de seguir con el siguiente punto? No, we're good to go.
Okay, so as you can see on our lovely agenda, we've been putting off this presentation. Now, I think this is our 3rd meeting that we're tabling the presentations for. So with your permission, I'd like to maybe take 5 or 10 minutes of your life right now and just very quickly review some of the basics so that at the very least we know what's happening. As a reminder, at the very first school site council meeting, we were given the message from the elected English Learner Advisory Committee that they would like to transfer their responsibilities, their primary responsibilities, to the School Site Council. School Site Council voted, said, yes, we'll accept those responsibilities. ELAC is sending people to DLAC, for example, Ms. Corona, but the ELAC responsibilities have been transferred over to School Site Council. And part of the ELAC responsibilities, part of the ELAC experience, if you will, is to touch bases on what exactly it is that we're doing for the needs of English learners, how they get reclassified, how there's certain items that we need to discuss. But I'd like
Dr.
to,
E, before you continue, can you let Jaime translate, or else he's gonna lose everything? And I've been in his shoes where I'm like, whoa.
And I'm like, I'm writing everything down.
I feel you. I've been there, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
and Jaime, I'm so sorry, brother, I forget. So just say, Emil, stop.
I was going to stop you mid-sentence, like, stop.
So-
thank you.
Entonces, señora Fabiola, ahorita el doctor A está mencionando de que si está de acuerdo en que cómo es de que el comité se va a transferir al consejo, lo que viene siendo el ILAC, las responsabilidades, así cuanto viene siendo para reclasificar, a qué son you also said, Dr. A, after reclassification, what else did you say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, reclassification process, our English learner instructional program, as well as attendance.
Okay. También incluso en cuanto a la asistencia y luego cómo se le puede ayudar a nuestros estudiantes que están aprendiendo inglés.
Yes. So I am going to just do, as I was saying, there's been a little bit of a complication that's popped up at the district office level in relation to our federal program monitoring experience, and which is causing me to ask that this council allow me just to let's table this set of presentations on English learners to our next meeting, because I would hate to do this presentation only later to find out that we didn't need to do it.
Okay.
So, right?
Entonces,
Go ahead, Jaime, go ahead.
Señora Fabiola, ahorita también está mencionando de que hubo una complicación en el nivel del distrito, en cuanto en cuanto estar monitoreando lo federal en cuanto los estudiantes que están aprendiendo inglés. Entonces hay un problemita y quiere pausarlo para el siguiente reunión porque no quiere que si dice algo ahorita y luego después vayan a cambiar. Entonces, si está bien con usted, si quieren esperar un poquito más a la siguiente reunión.
Oh, claro que sí. Está bien.
So
She's good with it.
I appreciate it. So I do want to make sure that I've kept you guys informed about exactly what's going on. So the situation is as follows. The law, the federal guidelines allow the English Learner Advisory Committee, the ELAC, to transfer responsibilities to the SSC. That's legal. In fact, when we train parents on what the ELAC is, we tell them that. Do you mind, Jaime?
Ok, entonces nomás también le queríamos informar que debido a la ley federal académico, lo que viene, ya se mencionó que el ILAC, el comité del ILAC se le va a transferir responsabilidades como para entrenar a los papás, lo que viene siendo el SSC, para que así what did you say? I'm sorry. I lost
No,
my train of thought.
that's fine. That's enough. Honestly, that's more than enough detail. But what you guys need to understand is that even though that's a legal procedure, it was designed primarily for communities like ours, where we only have about a 20 to 30% English learner population, and it's difficult for us to get the parents of those English learners to participate in these kinds of events. So the federal guidelines have established this way to be able to transfer those legal responsibilities so that schools aren't found out of compliance. It's not the best thing to do, but it's what we do to get people to participate.
Entonces, básicamente lo que está mencionando, debido a que tenemos un 30% de estudiantes que están aprendiendo inglés, que no es su primer lenguaje, nomás para llevar el protocolo y no vaya a haber un problema, es precisamente por lo cual se está haciendo este arreglo, así para que todos estemos, alguien no esté, por decirlo así, yendo contra la ley, usted quebrando una regla que se excluyó.
Right. So the technicality is simply that because the district is not used to being audited at the level that we're being audited, the district office wants for us to move very slow with this kind of thing. So that's the reasoning behind me pulling back and saying, let me do this presentation at the next session if we need to do it, because the possibility exists. Yes, it does exist that we will need to reform the ELAC. Right. The good news is Ms. Corona was one of the members of ELAC, and so that's a possibility. Jaime?
Y entonces es lo que está mencionando también de que debido que esta es la primera vez que nos están, por decirlo así, nos están monitoreando muy detalladamente. Por eso es que el doctor A está mencionando de que por eso quieren que lo tomemos lento, despacito para ser eficientes y no vaya a haber una falla. Y así por eso agradece de que usted que es parte del ILAC, así ya todos podamos entender más mejor qué es lo que se está transfiriendo y qué es lo que se están fijando en ellos para que así no haya ningún problemita, una complicación.
Okay, no questions, no discussion, we're good?
¿Preguntas? ¿Algunas dudas, confusiones? ¿Todo bien?
I love this group. Which
Nunez had something. She raised her hand.
Oh, did she? Yes, Miss Nunez.
I just wanted to clarify for notes, just to indicate that we are motion to table this for next time.
Yeah, it does. This one wouldn't require a motion. We can just, we can move it forward. Yeah, just because there's a technical matter that's going on, so it's technically not tabled. I'm basically just asking permission to wait till next time. I have the slide decks. I can send everything to you. You can have all the information. It's just I want to save some of your time if I can. Brings us to item number 6, which is new business. We do have a request for our Via Parent University. I turned it to Dr. Cicada.
Actually, to Mr. Velasco.
And
Yeah. Me. Okay, pues de una vez vamos haciendo esto en español para que podamos ser un poco más eficientes. La organización Latin Parenting X es un grupo que se enfoca en parentesco, en clases de parentesco, pero tomando muy en cuenta la idea de la justicia de los menores de edad. Entonces es una manera de crear a los niños sin violencia. Y es un programa, lo que me atrajo a mí más que nada es que están ofreciendo un programa que está basado en la realidad de las traumas que cargamos, no solo los niños, pero nosotros como padres también. Entonces, cuando escuché ese aspecto, dije, no, pues quizás sea algo aquí que nos puede ayudar bastante, tomando en cuenta lo que estamos sufriendo ahorita todos en nuestra comunidad. Y pues viene con muy buena fama el programa. Mi hija duró el verano trabajando con esta señora y es como yo me di cuenta del programa. Y con lo que me estaba diciendo mi hija y las diferentes presentaciones que hacen durante el año, dije, creo que es algo que nos podría ayudar aquí en la escuela. Entonces me comuniqué con ella y mandó un por supuesto y se me hace que la cantidad fue de $10,000 para traerlos todo el segundo semestre. Lo que va a estar ofreciendo son 5 sesiones sincronizadas que son a base de Zoom y luego otras 5 sesiones que van a ser talleres que los papás van a poder trabajar a su tiempo, a base de internet, pero a su tiempo y a su plazo para que puedan pues seguir su aprendizaje si es que no pudieron asistir las sesiones en vivo. Obviamente yo me voy a encargar de colectar toda la información y prepararla para poder compartirla a lo largo de la escuela, pero pues obviamente necesitamos aprobar la cantidad para que podamos empezar este programa.
And Mr. Velasco, is there a cap on how many parents can attend? So estoy preguntando si hay un límite en cuántos padres pueden ir.
No, I didn't see any of that in the contract, Ms. Dr. Cicada, right? I didn't see any limits. No, and I'm sure because it's online, I don't think it's going to be a problem.
Mr. Velasco, can I ask you to just quickly summarize that for Sabrina as well?
Sure, Sabrina. So what we are talking about here is bringing on a group. It's an organization called Latin Parenting X. And the group, the organization focuses on non-violent parenting with a focus on trauma-informed practices that will guide our parents into learning how to become basically more effective parents when it comes to discipline and raising their children. And so what it is, it's a series of 5 Zoom type classes for parents for next semester, the second semester. And also with that will be 5 what we call asynchronous sessions, where learning modules that parents will have access to do their learning on their own. And so that is that program is, we're hoping to get it approved to get it started during the second semester of this year.
Okay, so with that, are there any questions or a discussion on the matter?
No, but I do want to I'm also with Alfonso on this. I want you guys to realize that in our community, myself included, and I can only talk for myself and not everybody else that's from this community, we do deal with that generational trauma. We do have that. And then when we become parents, even if we get educated and want to break the cycle, it's very hard because that's what we know, right? And so when you go to a regular parenting class, which I've done, I feel there's a disconnect because they don't get how it was. So lo que estoy diciendo, señora Fabiola, yo sé que es un programa muy caro, pero también es un programa que yo pienso que es muy beneficial porque este programa, como que hacen este programa para nosotros. Y yo no puedo hablar para nadie más, pero hablo por mí. Yo sé que cuando yo crecí, mis dos de mis padres ya venían con trauma, ya venían con diferentes cosas. Simplemente de venir a este país en otro idioma y otro lenguaje, otra vida, es un trauma. Entonces, ¿qué pasa? Yo ya soy madre y ya quiero romper ese ciclo de abuso. Es bien difícil cuando uno nomás sabe cómo que pegar en vez de disciplinar bien. No, lo ha hecho y estoy muy orgullosa que nunca le ha golpeado a mis niños, pero sí es algo que batallé mucho porque cómo usted va a hacer algo sin saber, ¿verdad? Porque es diferente de cómo quiere hacer de lo que pasó. Entonces, este programa específicamente me gusta porque entienden la comunidad. No es como otro, van a unas clases de padres, vamos a hacer esto y esto, pero eso no sirve para toda la gente. Entonces, lo que me gusta de este programa que se enfoca de veras en nuestra gente, en nuestra comunidad. So that's what I want to say.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. Any further discussion, questions, Mr. Velasco?
Yeah, no. Well, I just wanted to add to that is that it's a very different reality what we're dealing with here in Santa Ana, and I'm gonna say, I should probably say this in Spanish. Ahorita yo me estoy dando cuenta como maestro con las conversaciones que yo estoy llevando a cabo con los padres de mis estudiantes. Yo oigo y escucho la desesperación que están sintiendo ellos ahorita. No les puedo contar cuántas veces me han dicho a mí como maestro, ya no sé qué hacer, yo no sé qué hacer. Y a ese punto pues ya nos quedamos pues mudos porque pues ni ellos y ni yo, ni modo de irme yo a su casa, ¿verdad? A crear a sus hijos. Y es triste, pero por esas conversaciones sentí yo que quizás sería un buen recurso para la escuela, porque obviamente hay mucho que podemos hacer, nomás que no tenemos suficiente conocimiento pues de cómo hacerlo. Y yo espero pues que este programa nos dé ese conocimiento a todos, me incluyó a mí en eso, para poder mejorar las realidades ahorita específicamente con lo que está pasando, porque ahorita más que ningún otro tiempo en nuestra historia necesitamos que los papás aporten en este proceso educativo. Y siento yo que nuestra comunidad, los padres y las familias no se han creído capaz de participar. Siempre lo ha dejado en las manos de la escuela, ¿no? Y por lo regular funciona, porque pues tenemos muy buenas escuelas y tenemos buenos maestros, pero ahorita no tenemos esos recursos a nuestras manos, entonces les estamos pidiendo a ustedes como padres que puedan participar, pero ¿cómo? Si no saben bien todavía el sistema, cómo manejarlo. Y en combinación con lo que yo estoy enseñando en VPU en el primer semestre, dándoles a ellos explicaciones de las plataformas educativas y a lo que vamos en la próxima sesión, junto con lo que va a pasar en el segundo semestre, creo que vamos a estar en una muy buena posición para empezar el año escolar que viene, sea virtual o sea en persona, no importa, vamos a estar mejores posicionados, creo yo.
Thank you, sir. So, barring any other questions or discussion, is there a motion? What's the name of the organization, Mr. Velasco?
Latin Parenting X.
And this is a $10,000 request, Dr. Cicada. Is that accurate? Was that the amount that was asked for? Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. Let me double check.
Yeah, it was a flat number.
Latinx Parenting 10-session workshop, $10,000.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve the request for Parent University with Latinx Parenting for a total of $10,000 program to commence next semester?
I motion to approve.
Is there a second? Okay, Ms. Corona seconds. All in favor, raise your hand, please.
Lo segundo.
Yes. Okay, Ms. Gomez, you're good? No? Yes. And Ms. Sabrina, yes, no? Yes, Sabrina's good too. Unanimously passes. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Ms. Gomez, I know that the DAC-LELAC meeting was like 3 weeks ago, but you mind, and I think you got another one on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. So, is it okay for us to ask you to maybe just give us an update about some of the stuff from last night?
Yes, I actually have my updates. Actually, I could send them to all of you. I think last time that somebody tried to request it, unfortunately, I didn't have everybody's email. Maybe I could forward it to you, and you could send them the document with my updates. Would that work?
Absolutely.
But let me find it, and I'll do a quick summary. I know we did have elections, and I think Ms. Corona actually got secretary, if I'm not mistaken.
Good. Yes.
So let me. There we go. Sorry. And I can't share my screen, but I'll read a little bit. I'll be quick, I promise. One of the just things that they talked about was a certification for the CONAP program, which is supports Title I schools in achievement. They talked about supporting those kids that are academically disadvantaged. And it talked about the Title II parent training and recruiting for high quality teachers and principals. And they talked about Title III, which is language instruction for limited English students. And 90% of school funds come from state and 10% from federal, which I thought was really important information. And I could stop so you could translate, because I think I'm doing the same thing, going super fast and not giving you a chance to translate, because that's what happens when you're talking.
Okay, you start all over again. Because I was like, okay.
Jamie. Okay, Jaime, espérame. Mire, señora Corona was actually there. So quiere que lo transduza o usted estaba en la misma junta. Estoy revisando información de la junta que tuvimos de DAC en noviembre 9. Fabiola, pero usted estaba allí. ¿Quiere que interpretemos o puedo hacerlo nomás en inglés?
No, está bien, hazlo en inglés, yo estaba ahí.
See, there we go. You're welcome.
Gracias, thank you.
And then they were talking about the DLAC District Committee for Elected Parents. They were talking about what it was and the difference. Then they led the nominations, and they were saying that in December, there's going to be a cyberbullying program, and that they also want to start recognizing some of the last year's parents that were involved in the district. And there's also going to be a presentation on Common Sense Media for parents. And then the whole meeting adjourned at 6 p.m. So not much. That was basically it. The nominations took the larger part of the meeting.
Most of the time, yeah, it takes a long time. Is there any questions or discussion about the report? Okay, well, I want to thank you all for your time. Is there a motion to adjourn and a second to adjourn?
A motion to adjourn.
Ms. Nunez, is there a second? Thank you, Dr. Cicada. Hey, we are adjourned, but I just want to remind you of a couple things. January 4th is our next school site council meeting, which is the first Monday we come back from winter recess. So school starts that afternoon. We have our school site council meeting. I do want to just let you know, however, that because we are going through this auditing process, it is possible that I'll be asking Ms. Corona to convene yet another meeting between now and the end of the calendar year, between now and winter recess. We might need to convene one more time for any technical issues that the SSC needs to button up before the calendar year is open. But that'll come via email, via Parent Square, and that's where we are with that. Any questions, comments? We're good? Okay, thank you.
Do you want Jaime to interpret that?
Sí, escuchó, señora. Mencionó el doctor A de que la siguiente reunión va a ser en enero 4, entonces la primera semana que volvamos a la escuela otra vez después de las vacaciones de invierno, pero probablemente va a haber una reunión que debido a, en cuanto a la información que el doctor A va a querer a platicar con usted, y eso probablemente va a ser antes, pero antes que, o posiblemente antes que termine el año, el año académico.
Tengo una pregunta. No, es que como tengo mi celular con ustedes, el día 4, ¿qué día es? Espero que no sean los lunes, porque tenemos junta los lunes allá con ellos. Ya las dejaron así para los lunes.
What date is January 4th? Is it a Monday?
Yes,
Will we return?
It's a Monday.
Sí,
pero es a las 3. ¿Qué hora es su junta de allá? Pensé que eran las 4, ¿no?
Sí, es a las 4, ya.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because she has another meeting at 4 on that day.
Okay. Yeah, well, council can do what you guys want to do. We can try to be real quick about it, but it's up to you guys how you want to handle that.
Podemos ser rápido cuando nos juntemos en enero 4, pero todo depende de lo que ustedes piensen.
We're good? I'm sorry, you're muted, Ms. Gomez.
Sorry. I said I think an hour should be fine, no?
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Pues una hora probablemente va a tomar la reunión.
Okay.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. Sabrina, have a good weekend. Have a great night, everybody.